Hi guys, I hope you are doing well and you had a fantastic week. I know it might be stressful for some of us as week 5 is coming to an end and week 6 of the semester starting up, but hold on, stay strong. So, for the question of this week, it was what are some of the factors that contribute to teachers' unwillingness to collect behavioral data and suggest strategies for overcoming these resistances? So what I did was I created like a T-chart where I identified the factors and then I identified the strategies to overcome these factors or these resistances. So the first resistance or factor that I identified was not having enough time. Time seems to be is the greatest enemy, seems to teachers, and especially when it comes to the area of monitoring behavior. It seems like the biggest excuse is that their main goal is to teach and not to monitor behavior. And collecting behavioral data seems to be a time-consuming activity. How can we overcome this mentality? One, it is important and key and to take note of the fact that according to the IDEA Act of 2014, a great emphasis was placed on response to intervention. And this clearly implies that documenting student progress, including behavioral components, is important. I think response to intervention cannot be successful without having the data at hand. So if it's implied by I guess the act, then legally and by law there should be some documentation of the behavior. So regardless if you have time or not, you have to do it. Two, something a bit more practical to help teachers overcome that mentality is using self-monitoring charts. In one of the videos that we had to watch for this week that Dr. Wonglo posted was it was a 2-minute video about 2 different students and how a teacher used self-monitoring charts to keep them accountable of what they needed to be focused on and what specifically their targeted behavior. So one of the examples was it was a chart of showing how many times that student need to be reminded to start their work on time, and so he used it was 1 time. So without any reminders was a smiley face. With one maybe reprimand, it was like a just a straight line implying the smiley face, and then the other one had no smiley face or something like that. And so the teacher would collect that at the end of the day, and then that gave her easier access to collecting the data. So she wasn't necessarily keeping an eye on him consistently. He was responsible of doing it. And I believe self-monitoring charts are a great way of delegating the responsibility of that to the students. The second factor that I identified was the idea that measuring behavior doesn't help a teacher teach. And the misconception behind that is that there is no correlation between measuring behavior and teaching. According to Curran Nelson on page 142, it was in this box that really addressed this issue and talking about the importance of measuring student progress. And it said, the teaching profession is dedicated to the task of altering student behavior, changing it demonstrably for the better. What can one say, then, of educational practice that does not include reliable measurement of the behavior change induced by the teacher's methodology? So it hits it right on. Teaching profession is dedicated to altering the student's behavior, ultimately for the better. So how can we approach that? We have to take note of how data collection can help we have to take note about how data collection helps us. 1. it helps us make instructional decisions. How is our instruction can be based? Our instruction is based upon decisions, and these decisions are based upon um, how students are behaving and reacting to the instructional input. Two, we have to take note of that data collection helps by providing feedback for ourselves as teachers, for the students, and other professionals on the effectiveness of instructional as well as behavioral intervention programs. Three, data collection ensures accountability. Someone is holding you accountable of what's going on in the classroom. Four, data collection provides common discussion basis when talking with parents, teachers, students, and other professionals. I think it's the conversation opener when you're facing an issue with a student in the classroom. It's like, prove it for us. Boom! If you have the data, you have it. And third and fifth of all, it increases student performance. Now, this is just my own thought on the idea about how data collection increases student performance. According to the reading, I did not pick up any, specific research on that, but that was something when I was younger, I felt it. When the teacher was, I remember she would hold her clipboard and she would walk around the classroom, and now I never understood why, but now that I'm in this teaching profession, I understand. She was monitoring my academic performance and my behavior. But I would note that sometimes it kind of, I don't want to say put pressure on me, but whenever I saw her with the clipboard, like, okay, I gotta get my acts together. And so it improved my performance. So indirectly, it was like a pressure that was placed on me, but for my own well-being. And the third factor that contributes to the teacher's unwillingness to collect data is that there's no support or reinforcement of monitoring student progress. So there's nothing to hold teachers accountable. And they realize themselves that they're just guided by guesses and nothing solid set in place. So how this could be overcome is by you as a teacher to recruit that enforcement. You could share that data with those who you report the student progress to. And they noted in the reading about the importance of using graphs because it's a visual representation of what's going on. And I think it's important during that process when you're reporting on the student progress is you tell that person of what you're trying to do and how you are trying to measure and evaluate the progress, because that will enhance the accountability partnership going on. Now, I realize that we live in the 21st century and technology is a big component of the 21st century. It's made life easier for us. It provides us day-to-day opportunities where we could make the best use of our time if we use it appropriately. It just makes things faster for us. The ability of, let's say, doing online shopping is just an example of how it makes time easier for us. Instead of wasting time driving to the mall and picking out, it's like boom, 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 you order it online within a couple of days. If you have Amazon Prime, 2 days it arrives. So it does save you time. So in the sense of how technology saves us time, and going to that first factor of how time is a big issue for teachers, like I was wondering, are any of you aware of any software or programs that can be used to facilitate the recording of behavioral data collection? So you can automatically put it in and then it could give you graphs or table charts, which could eventually help you with the analysis of that data. I would definitely appreciate your input. I haven't been able to come across a program or software. I read in the book that there are, but I was wondering if you guys had any exposure to that I would definitely appreciate your insight. Thank you so much, and if you guys have any questions or concerns, please comment below and I will be sure to do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.